Hi, and welcome to Woodbine Mohawk Park. It is Friday night. It's going to be a lot of fun here this evening, a busy one. So, Randy Waples needed a little bit of a hand tonight. So, I hopped in the car and came down the 401 highway, and super happy to be here tonight. Great card, 13 races, as mentioned, a busy one. SBOA eliminations, 3-year-old filly trotters, and what a star-studded group. We had a star-studded group going postward this morning at qualifiers. We're going to talk a little bit about that as well. But right now, I want to bring in Randy to chat about tonight's program and a busy weekend of racing, too, an exciting time of year. Of course, Stanley Cup playoff fever in full swing. I'm trying to stay even-keeled as my Leafs are up 2-0. Big game tonight. But yeah, let's talk racing. We got a Borgata final tonight at Yonkers. We've got Juravinski Elims later this weekend at Flamborough. And of course, SBOA Elims take center stage here.
No. You're not getting away with it that easy. No, sir. No, you're not getting away with it that easy, Mr. Blanchard. Okay, you explain to me how your Leafs, okay, how you could come from Prince Edward Island and somehow or another you've skipped Pittsburgh, Montreal, Ottawa, and then got to the Leafs. Now, how did that come about?
As a fan?
Yeah.
I was born in Toronto.
Oh, I thought you were born PEI.
No, I grew up there. See, you don't know me as well as you thought.
Man of mystery.
Die-hard Leaf fan. It was either Leafs or Canadians.
And you skipped the Canadians.
On the East Coast, yeah. Quite a few Boston fans, too.
Right.
But I would say Leafs, primarily.
When did Pittsburgh become a big thing down there, Sid?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
right.
There's a lot
that is amazing, right? When
Yeah.
you think of the players that have come from Nova Scotia alone, right?
Yeah.
In that part of Nova Scotia, Nate McKinnon, of course, Brad Marchand, our arch nemesis. Love him when he's playing for Canada.
Who was the guy that was
Don't
from
love
that
him when
area
he's
that had the
playing
wicked
against
slap shot?
Al McGuinness.
Mal McGuinness.
Yeah,
Where's he from?
Cape Breton.
Cape Breton.
Cape Breton.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
He could put it right through the twine.
Yeah, I know. He was phenomenal. Stanley Cup winner, of course, with St. Louis, too. So, yeah, I mean, that's enough hockey. Go Leafs, go. Fingers crossed again. Big game tonight. They could really do themselves some favors there. So, let's dive into tonight's program. 13 races, so it's going to be a busy one. And a really good handicapping card, I think, top to bottom here tonight, Randy, as well. We're going to talk SBO ALMs, but we'll start over in race number 2, first of all. We're looking there at 5-year-olds and younger. Want to quickly let you know about weather tonight, too. If you're just tuning in tonight, it is a beautiful night weather-wise, really picture perfect for this time of year. Sun is shining. It's staying on the mild side, above the plus 10 degree mark as we get later into the evening here, but we'll be playing on a fast oval here tonight, no doubt. Look at that. It looks to me like she's spot on tonight, Randy, for some big miles.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was out on it a little bit earlier. Just took a brief little kind of walk on it. You know, I mean, a little bit firm, you know what I mean? But they got lots of time to open it up and not a cloud in the sky. And like you said, just the perfect kind of weather. You know, not too hot and certainly not too cold. No wind. Beautiful night for it.
Okay, I got ahead of myself slightly, so let's dive into things here now. Race number 2 is where we want to go. First of all, the overnight races tonight are excellent. Race 2, no exception. We're looking at non-winners of a race in here, 5-year-olds and younger. Some up-and-comers, I think, in the ranks here. And, you look at the morning line, I think that tells the tale here. A lot of horses have the potential to step up and get it done.
There is. You know, I'm actually a little bit shocked on the morning line on this. You know, I'm a little shocked that they would put Glowing Lou as, install him as your morning line favorite. I think that there's a horse in here that raced incredibly well in his last start and comes out of a very, very deep kind of a barn, same as Glowing Lou. But I didn't even use Glowing Lou in here. You know, I know that he's raced here a couple of times in a maiden, but yet hasn't even hit the board yet. You know, then he's had some time off, wintered well down in Florida, it looks like. But again, he comes back, he tries to chop in that second qualifier there, and he ends up getting beat 12 lengths. So I'm going to pick against the morning line chalk, and I'm going to go with the 2-horse in here, this Control Rocks. We got the replay of this guy, Greg. I mean, he really really looks like he's live out there. Coming out of the Jack Darling barn, I mean, you're not going to get a whole lot better than that. Billy Davis qualified this guy and raced him in this last start, and I'm saying, like, this guy had some serious movement on the end of his trip. So let's take a look at this guy. Like I said, Billy Davis, he's sitting a third over right now behind a very loosely gapped second over horse. So it's taken him way out of it. He's not just, 4 or 5 lengths out of it. I'd say he's closer to about 7 out of it right here. But here comes this big fella right now, and he starts to make some ground. And this is a big, long-legged horse right here. He takes a little bit of a sideways move because Louis looking for the same spot to get out, and he busts on by this one, busts on by the next one. Now he goes hunting for these last 2, and now look at him click into gear. Amazing effort, I thought. So Control Rocks is the way that I'm going to go in here, Greg.
Yeah, you look for that, right? First start, that eye-catching final rally in there, and that's exactly what we got. He's got kind of the gait that suggests the big track really is in his wheelhouse. Scratch sick from what was only going to be a second scheduled start last year, so it looks like they just said, you know what, enough's enough, and let's put him away and bring him back, and it looks like it's paid off.
It has, and I mean, like, we've seen this story so many times from the Jack Darling stable, I mean, just one of our more premier horsemen, you know what I mean? And like I said, there's some other great ones in here as well, but, this Control Rocks, I think we really got to take another second look at him.
And we know Jack's resume, certainly. This could be any kind of a horse. So we'll see if he can take another nice step forward tonight. That's in race number 2. Let's turn our attention now to race number 3. First of our SBOA eliminations, 3-year-old filly trotters going postward tonight. So this is a nice early season stakes test for these types, some of whom we'll see playing on the Grand Circuit over the course of the season. But one you want to focus in on a little bit here is your post-4 starter, Teller's Choice. Taking a good look at him, he's been racing good, 3 qualifiers to work with, so, I got him in on the bottom of my ticket. Where I'm going to go with our replay is I'm going to go a little sweet. Now, one thing I would like to say to people out there that are just kind of looking at this before we take a look at this replay, last year, this was our super final winner, but she was coming out of the Dave Maneri barn. Now she's, wintered down in Florida, came back up, and now she's going to be racing out of the Susie Kerwood barn in here tonight. So just so make a mental note of that, we're sticking with McNair. He qualified her last start for Susie. Nice effort here. We're going to take a look at that now. And but he was the winner of the Super Final, put together a really strong campaign last year, 250,000 made in 10 starts. But remember, that was in the Maneri barn, now coming out of the Susie Kerwood stable. I don't care. I'm going up on top. I think she's a quality filly, and she's now coming from one quality barn into another quality barn. Look at the body language on Dougie. He just asked her one time there to trot forward. It doesn't look like she's growing a whole lot, but I don't really think she has to. She's got a perfect gait on her. She can get herself into good spots, and it looks like she's come back razor sharp. So Little Sweet, first start for Susie Kerwood. Going to be my pick in there, Greg. Yeah, she is little, but she's all legs by the look of her. And
she was named well.
Beautiful gait, yeah. I love the trotters that carry their head low like that and reach for racetrack. And yeah, that looked like kind of a walk in the park and appears ready to go. A couple of other ones we should touch on quickly. Exquisite Taste, 3 for 3 to start the season. Looks like this one's turned a quarter. And what about Rick Zeron's Shampoo Girl? Lightly raced compared to the others in the field. So big vote of confidence from him to enter her in this spot.
Yeah, he recently got this one. Looks like, he was training this one last year, I suppose. I'm thinking of a different one. But, 1 for 1 last season, then shut down. Has that one qualifier back with James, but she ended up making a little bit of a mistake there. And then Rick gets the job done last week, 56-3, last quarter and 28-1. Rick coming back again. So, she can show a chop. If he can get her out of there on the right foot with the 6-hole, he might be able to put her right back in front and then find himself a perfect 2-hole trip.
So that's a good-looking tilt. I think some interesting storylines early on in the season, too. And that adds a little bit, doesn't it, the unpredictability at this stage of the season?
It's really the big thing is where does the best ones from last year, where do they fit this year, and where the surprise is going to come from? Because we both know there's always surprises.
Absolutely.
Horses that were lightly raced or maybe even didn't race last year. Now, all of a sudden, they're the go-to ones. But in this field right here, I feel confident on the Little Sweet.
And in the finals for this, we'll be probably talking about different horses after the eliminations tonight. So we'll learn a little bit more about this group here this evening. That's SBOA elimination number 1, race number 3. We're going to move over to race number 5 next, and another group of the non-winners of one level on the pace. Post 1 starter Freight Days a Week. Kind of been knocking at the door for Doug High, who's going to be back in the driver's seat here. And you feel like he's bringing him along pretty well in preparation for maybe breaking through here.
Yeah, I do, and I don't think it's been an easy bring along. A couple of times I kind of thought that maybe Freight Days a Week was driving Doug. And one thing about Doug High that you got to know, like, I mean, this guy could drive, you know, he could drive anything. You could put him on a stagecoach and he could drive it. Like, I mean, he is really, really good with horses. But every once in a while, you know, he just looks like he's kind of got a bit of a mind of his own, you know. So last week, I've been watching him, and I thought last week was a really better indication. And the big reason being was that he left a little bit with him last week from the 7-hole, put him into position to see what, you know, how we're going to look on the end of it. So we can roll the replay on him. I thought it was an incredibly good replay. A middle half and 58-1, gets himself into a really, really good spot, then takes a little bit of interference at the head of the lane. Now, obviously, you know, they're looking at it as being Doug's fault because he's going to finish second in this race, but place third. What I'm looking at, though, is does he have go when he gets out of this field? And I say that he does. Now, right there was where the interference, you know, kind of came in. You know, he kind of into another horse's wheel, sort of. Then he's back out here with them, and this is the part I wanted to see. Now, is he just going to float out there, or is he going to move forward? I say that this is a good indication that he wants to go forward. He should get stronger each time that he races, and at no point did he, you know, get tired on the end of the mile. So I'm thinking that with the rail, you know, he could end up being one of those ones we might get a little bit of a price on him. Last 2 starts here, Greg, 75-1. His very last start, 33-1. Might get a bit of a price on this guy.
And watching him there, that horse reminds me of the sire, Jimmy Freight, the way he goes, same size. Am I crazy? Or,
No, I don't think so. No. I'll be the crazy one here.
Now, we'll see in the ability department. He's got a long way to go to match his papa, Jimmy Freight. But, yeah, heading in the right direction there. And you can see the talent. And that zigging and zagging with a big horse like that isn't ideal. So the fact that he was still gaining late in the mile, a good sign for him. Quick thought on post 1. Do you think it's good for him?
Not exactly. He's lived through it in the qualifier, so I know that he can deal with it. Not exactly my favorite place, you know, for a horse to start from. My problem with him, though, is that if I let it go too long, I'm not going to get the price. Like, I really do think that we can hit a price with this guy tonight. Like, I'm thinking maybe 15-1.
I like it. Taking a shot tonight, Randy Waples over in race number 5. Freight Days a Week, the one that he tabs in there. Moving ahead now, race number 6 is our second SBOA elimination. We've got a field of 7 facing the starting gate, and it marks the return of the champion of the division, Mona Lishi. Randy, a quick assessment of the qualifying efforts we've seen so far.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I'm going to throw her right up on top. I think that she's done everything absolutely right. And to tell you the truth, I'm a little bit shocked that James was, you know, going to open her up as much in this one. So let's take a look at this one. This is not usually James's MO. He usually bring them in here with, you know, more or less making you guess about how much is left on it. But between the body language of James and the fact that she wins this way, what she accomplished last year, the fact that it looks like she's filled out good over the year, looks like everything that Blake has brought back as a 3-year-old has wintered good, and they're looking strong out there. I mean, like I said, James never moves. He never calls on her, never does anything. She's an easy winner. And look again at that time, 54-4. That is a big setup for tonight.
Yeah, 29 seconds at the end. I mean, obviously, you like seeing, you know, top contenders like this coming home in that 27, 28 second range and looking flashy, but in a 54-4 mile, and the way James looked like he was kind of, you know, keeping the bit in their mouth at the wire, nothing to be concerned about, I don't think.
No, I'm thinking that if he'd have turned her loose, she could have maybe went 53-4. You know, I really do. I think that there was a second in there.
Yeah, you don't want to do that, of course, this early in the season if you don't have to. One filly that's kind of playing catch up with this group, Not Passable, didn't race last year at age 2, but a couple of qualifiers and I think a real solid debut effort.
Unbelievably solid debut and great drive by Jamison. Look at this size of her, number one on this one. But look where he is in this muddy track. Now, he does get lucky and find a seam, but regardless of whether he found that seam, he still did really, really right by her. Now, this is where it really gets interesting, you know. At this point, you say to yourself, there's no way he's going to be able to make this out. Now he finds another seam, gets her to the outside, and like he lets her get into her gear, and now is when he asks her to go. You can see his right hand, just give her a little flick, and off she goes. And I mean, wow, she's beautiful looking, got a great gait on her, doesn't wear very, very little equipment, has a real easy first lifetime start, to set her up for the rest of her career, and can't say enough about the barn that she comes out of, with the Carl Jamison factor. But one thing I will say, Greg, this is, in my opinion, by far the deeper of the two divisions that we're looking at tonight. This is going to be a real humdinger of a race.
Yeah, I would concur with that. And ordinarily, you need to see, a start or maybe two at this level to, see if the filly is up to jumping up and facing those types. But we've seen those meteoric rises in recent years, right? And I look back to last year. You look at Paquette and Highland Kismet, right, in the three-year-old division, how quickly they rose through the ranks. And just a different time, I think, right? I think horses can quickly make that move up.
They can. It's what they show you out there, though. They have. It's hard to explain to people, but they have a certain presence.
Yeah,
it's a presence. It's a swagger that it doesn't matter if they're fillies, colts, geldings, studs. Doesn't matter. The good ones all have it. And I can remember the very first time that I got my eyes on Some Beach Somewhere, and I watched him walk out onto the track, and it just hit me right then. Because you could just tell this was a stud.
Sure. Sprite Sealster, another name I just want to throw into the mix in that second elimination. A filly that showed talent last year as a 2-year-old in a few starts. It looks to me like she's really wintered well. I liked what I saw from her last time.
Got her in for third. Greg McNair had her last year for Tyler Borth. Now, I mean, Katie McNeil and Tyler has taken the training over. You can see that they qualified her and raced her that first start. She looked amazingly well. So that's what I'm saying. And then you bring in Roxy Hart too, from the rail. Benoit Bergeron stable, another one that, shows great ability as well. Nightingale's been racing good for Susie Kerwood. Bright Green, made my watch list in her last. This is a really deep tilt in this one.
That's going to be a lot of fun. 2 SBOA eliminations this evening, and Randy says the deeper of the two in that 6th race. Let's turn our attention now to some nice-looking 3-year-old pacing fillies this time at the non-winners, a 2-level over in race number 7, where Foxy Seaside makes a second start back. Slow start kind of cost this one last time. From a fitness standpoint, should be that much better this week.
Yeah, the big thing I'm going on, though, Greg, I don't have many moves, but one of my moves is second start Lasix. I am a huge believer in second start Lasix. I've experienced it where it's worked my way. I've seen it work that way, and the biggest thing is that the first time that they have Lasix in them, you can't overdo it. And I think that James, with the 2-hole, taking her back 40-1, this was the opportunity to kind of give her a little bit of an easy one. You always want to win, but you don't want to leave it on the track first start, because second start is when it really starts to work good if first start isn't overdone. So there she is, great big filly at the back, and already one of the signs that I like about her is James's shoulder at the back. At no point is he asking her to do anything here right now. He's way out of it. They're starting to fly right now. You can see Drury's mare. I think this is Nice Bun. She's starting to kind of move away. Now James starts to kind of come with her right here down deep in the mile. And this is where I like to see. You got to see some response on the end of it. I thought I saw enough response. I liked the way that she went. I liked the way that she was racing before that qualifier in the wintertime here when she went 2 for 3. Or 2 for 4 in her last 4 on the program. And that was up into she worked herself up into that non-winners of 3, which is a pretty tough class. So Foxy Seaside, second start Lasix, coming back with James McDonald in the bike. Middle of the gate, I like this one in here. 10-1 morning line, Greg.
Yeah, you're taking a few swings tonight.
I'm Babe
You're
Ruth
looking
in it,
for
buddy.
the value shopping tonight. Randy Waples. Let's see what he's got in store over in race number 8 as we continue on. We're
Going
on
a little
trot.
logical here, Greg.
All right, we're on the trot this time. 5-year-olds and younger, non-winners of 2 or $20,000 lifetime. Cover band is 5-2 in the morning line, and this one got your attention after a nice return to the racetrack last time too. Showed all kinds of enthusiasm late in the mile, we'll say.
Yeah. I actually had him in for second that first start because I did really like LMC Wagon Wheel, and I thought to myself too, first start back, he shipped up from Florida after qualifying down there twice. They're not going to go too crazy on him. I'm telling you, Greg, after watching this guy race last year, I think we could be looking at a Hamiltonian. Not only a Hamiltonian horse, but a Hamiltonian winner. I keep an eye on this guy coming out of the Bob Young stable. So here he is with Scotty Young coming on the outside, the 2-horse here. He looks to me like he's grew a little bit, also put on a little bit of weight, not overly amount or anything like that, but I think he's going to keep growing. This horse was so impressive last year. He came back exactly the way that I thought he would come back, and I think that it's all in tonight for this guy, Greg. This is my all-in best bet of the night.
That is a bold, and I mean a bold prediction.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to stand by it too.
Tell us more.
I knew when I seen Highland Kismet the first time that we were looking at a Hamiltonian horse, and I'm not 100% sure if between the track and the way that it just didn't really kind of work for Kismet that he wasn't the best horse that day. I know Carl won it and he was a good second, but I still thinking that, maybe it could have went the other way. This guy showed me the same stuff as a 2-year-old. He knows no end of the mile, and I love the barn that he comes out of. I think that we could be looking at a Team Young Hamiltonian winner, much like we saw few years back with Team Xeron.
All right, teasing a little bit as we're going to get a look at Highland Kismet a little bit later on the pregame show. We continue our look at tonight's program. Let's go to race number 9 now. This is a pop-up series division for the fillies and mares. You get the bridle change for a number 2 Flight Crew in there, going from side rolls to race in blinkers. A short, compact field of 6. Does that play into the hands of Lady Get Lucky?
Yeah, I think so. Short field, McNair and the bike. God, he can get a horse off the wings good. Yeah. He can just pop them off there. So the way I'm going to go, though, is Lady Tara. Probably she's, bringing up a lot of London starts on this one, but every time she comes into town, I always take a second look at her because I really, really like the way that she races this daughter of Sweet Lou. So she's going to be my top pick in here. But the replay that we're going to show you is a horse that I think is another viable play in here, and trust me, between the 1 and the 6, it was a real toss-up in here. So I'm going to go show you this replay of Lady Get Lucky, I think is the so Lady Get Lucky is the replay that we're going to show you in here. And now, I don't often, show replays where they just go down the road, but I will show it when one is extra strong. And that's the thing that I wanted people to see here. She is on her game here. Now, that being said, you better take a look at the horse that's sitting on her back, First of an Era for Brett McDonald. She is never going to get out of that position that she's in right now. So I would say locked in effort, but look at the body language on McNair. At no point does anybody even get close to Dougie's wheels. Lady Get Lucky was extremely good, but I'm going to go back to Lady Tara. And right now, I don't think there's a hotter driver on our circuit right now, Greg, than Bob McClure. He's really lighting things up.
All right, so a couple of them coming in off wins. Lady Get Lucky for the unfiltered star, Chris Matthews, who trains, and young trainer Zach Carroll from down London Way. He's got a real nice operation, and Lady Tara coming in off of a wind as well. So that's a good matchup in the ninth. Over to race number 10 next. Getting into the hard-hitting, claiming pacers here. We've got a full field of 10 set to line up. Who should we be focusing on in that one?
I'm going out to post 10, my friend. We're going all the way out to Little Sebastian. Now, this one's going to be making his first start for Pam Forkey. And, when she brings horses here, he's recently been claimed off of Jeff Hunt, but when she brings horses here, you got to take a second look. Her horses race very well. Now, she's raced, he raced his last start at Flamborough, but where he made my watch list is his second last start here. Now, you can see Jeff Hunt with this 3-horse up on Jody's back, and this is about as far as he's going to get out of this situation as well. Takes her to Flamborough, her next start, and she does get claimed. But again, this is her last start here, this April the 25th line, and I just like the way that she raced. She's not going to get to Louis up here with B Sunny, but really nothing else is really in her wheelhouse as well. And like I said, kind of coming back to this class, I like her in here. Picks up McNair, does draw the 10-hole, but I think that's going to be looking to elevate our price a little bit. So I am kind of looking here for a little bit of a price as well.
All right, let's flip all the way over to race number 13 to wrap up our look at the program tonight from a handicapping perspective. 13th and final, another claiming tilt. You've got the jackpot high five in there, reminding you there's a nice carryover, more than $150,000 going into that one. Really wide open. You're trying to make a case for one. Who catches your eye?
Well, phone 911 is going to be the way that I'm going to go, but it's not going to be the replay that we show you. She came over here from Flamborough on her last start, and she really fit well in here. I thought she really did good her first time here, where she finished 6th. I think Travis was, had her in a little bit better position. But the replay that we're going to show you is the 9-horse DA Captain Obvious. James McDonald driving tonight for Kyle Fellows. Now, another one here, he's going to be kind of stuck down in there, and that's about as far as he's going to go. You see him right now splitting horses, the 3-horse. James's shoulders still back, got the red hood on to help you out. Hits the wheel disc there. Do we have any movement? Oh, yes, we do. Here he come flying on the outside. He isn't going to get to Phil, but I'm sure that Phil heard him coming, because you could see him kind of try to wake his guy back up, steel wheel Hanover going forward. So DA Captain Obvious got him in for 3rd, but I really like the way he raced. But phone 911 with the inside post, the post number 3, coming out of the Jody Cullen barn. Travis Cullen was a winner in its last. I think can come back and repeat.
All right, on-time delivery. I think he delivers in the finale.
Got him in for second. Agreed.
We'll go head-to-head, and we'll talk more about that later on tonight. We've got a pick 6, though, to have a look at here tonight, and a carryover situation into that as well.
Yeah, we did. Just couldn't get it done here. But yeah, I threw one in here in race number 4. I'm just going to go too deep in there. I'm going to go the one for my baby out of the Galucci barn, and I'm going to back that one up with Lady Gambler. A lot of changes coming in with this one. Big thing is I think that this Lady Gambler is really showing us something special. Race 5, I'm hitting the all button, looking for a price in there. I got Freight Days a Week up on top, but I'm going to hit the all button. Race number 6, singling Mona Lishi. Race number 7, we're going to have a single with Foxy Seaside, second start Lasix. Race number 8, we are singling Cover Band. And race number 9, we're going to go too deep. Lady Tara and Lady Get Lucky, and that's just goes to show you just how tough it was for me to decide between those 2 fillies. I can't, so I'm going to use them both.
You've got a future Hambo winner in there. You better be singling that one.
Darn right.
For sure.
Darn right. You heard it here first. I'll stand by it.
That starts in race number 4 tonight. One of a couple of carryovers that we'll have as part of the program tonight. All right, let's look back at maybe one of the deepest qualifying groups we've seen here in a long time in our qualifying report. I mean, you talk about a star-studded group out here this morning. Big news right up front, though. Chantilly, biggest of them all, perhaps. She was scratched. We're hearing that she came up a little bit sick. Hopefully nothing serious, and she'll not really miss any time.
Yeah, and they've had a couple into her. I've talked to James. He said that she's come back better than he could have hoped. So, I think she's going to be good to go. I'm glad that they ended up caught it. So who we got here again?
This is Emoji Hanover from the Luke Blay Barn, the 4-year-old.
Look, you said you like them trotters with the low head. Look at this one.
Beautiful.
Hey, is she reaching for the wire or what?
Yeah, poetry in motion.
She is.
27 seconds on the end of that 56 and 4 mile this morning for Emoji Hanover. And the stablemate from the Blay Barn, Emoticon Legacy, who last year won a Champlain Stakes division, definitely competitive at the Grand Circuit level, and a nice qualifying effort this morning.
She looks like she's maybe grew a little bit, this one. I thought the other filly was kind of right around the same sort of size, but this one, she looks like she's grew a little bit, and it also looks like she's filled out a little bit too. And look at the body language on Louis. I mean, what kind of a quarter does she come, Greg?
28-1, but I mean, that is as effortless as it gets right there.
That is.
And I like the fact that she's not pulling his arms out either, right?
No.
She's just nice and relaxed. I think
And a lot of these
push button.
Right, and a lot of these are going to come back for a second attempt.
Now, you want to talk about an electrifying pacer next, Irvin Hanover. His second qualifier, the horse that really burst onto the scene here late last season when moving into the Maneri barn, put up some blistering times, kind of dominated the preferred level, and steps up his time this morning, 51 flat, with a big last quarter.
He does. Looks really, really good. Now, that one in the 2-hole, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's it's a love thing.
It's a love thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, and she looks good, too. That's a good reference on both of them. But, you know, as good as she is, when you put a horse like that in there, I mean, you can see the difference, right?
Yeah. And last, we're going to get a look now at Highland Kismet. So, again, Mark Etzel in the bike for the second consecutive week.
And no pants. We're going with no hobbles. So that's kind of a good sign for him coming back as well. You know, it looks like he's maybe, to me, it looks like he's put weight on. I'd have to ask Mark that. He was always a big horse, right? Big kind of tall drink of water. But it looks like his barrel, like he's put on a little bit of extra weight. And, you know, for the level that he's going to have to race at this year and the speeds that he's going to have to go, he's going to need that a little bit of extra baby fat.
55 for him last week, steps up his time this morning as well, 153 and 4:27 seconds on the end.
We're going to have a deep group of trotters this year.
Indeed we are. And on that note, of course, we want to extend the best of luck for our Canadian hopeful Logan Park this year in the Elite Lop as well. And you know, not too far down the road, the Pepsi North America Cup. Hard to believe another year is going by. We're going to take a look at the leaderboard heading into that. Little bump in the road this morning, as we mentioned, for Chantilly. The reports we're getting it's you know, nothing serious, and that you know, she might just miss a week, hopefully, and get right back on track. But
I would have to guess that it'd be if they brought her down. You know what I mean? Or even had the idea that they were going to qualify her. My guess is she's had a bit of an allergy outbreak.
All right, so Mark McKelvey from the communications department's put together this leaderboard. Here's the top four currently. Ron Burke's Lou Print, who was a big sub 150 winner last week at the Meadows, number one in the standings. Then you've got the other two colts, Captain Optimistic and Fallout, and Chantilly. And just having her name into the mix at this point in the season, it just elevates the interest and the intrigue into Canada's premier race.
It is, you know what I mean? And listen, I'm raw Ron Cannon. I don't really care where it comes from this, because I truly do believe it. If you showed me those four horses up on the screen, I say she's the best one.
You know, on her best day, from what I've seen to this point in time, you know, and until we see them head to head, we never really know for sure. No. But I think us, like everybody in the racing industry, can't wait to hopefully see that.
Yeah. She's a creature. Like, she's something that we're going to see, you know, maybe once or twice in a generation. I can go back to the last one I seen like her, Van Hanover.
Yeah, and to win, when you win overall horse of the year in Canada as a 2-year-old, undefeated, that tells you how
special
special
she was undefeated.
She is. That's right.
Yeah.
All right, SBOA eliminations tonight, as mentioned. They take center stage, 3-year-old filly trotters, and some of the big guns in the division return tonight. Anticipated return of Mona Lishi. We'll see her in that second split, which looks like the deeper of the two.
Much deeper of the two, I would have to say. You know, not to say that there's not going to be some nice ones comes out of the first one as well, but there's a top to bottom on that second tilt.
Lil Sweet, she's small, but boy, she's got a big gait, and she looked good last time out. She is the slight morning line favorite in the first contest, running up against a hot horse in Exquisite Taste, who's won 3 in a row.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Exquisite Taste is bringing a lot in here. I mean, and she's been beating colts too. Like, she hasn't been just been racing in against the in the fillies. So I mean, obviously has come back very, very strong. She had a lot of ability last year, but never really seemed to be able able to string it together to get that victory. But my goodness, she come back this year, and all she wants to do is win. But she did have a nice third in the super final last year too.
Almost unanimous on her in the top spot. Garnet Barnsdale, the lone dissenter. He's going to the outside of the gate in that opening contest. And the second split over in race number 6, and as we mentioned, it marks the seasonal debut for Mona Lishi. She is 7-5 in the morning line and comes in on the strength of a really spectacular qualifying effort most recently.
Yeah, I mean, it's just everything that she did last year and the way that she looks this year. I mean, it's the, we could be looking at another peaceful way here. We truly could be. I mean, it just seems to me like there's no real end to her just yet. We'll find out more this year, but I don't think Blake could be happier with the way that she's come back.
It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got a beautiful night for racing. We hope we get the same thing one week, or next weekend, I should say, on Saturday night. It's the annual fireworks night here at Mohawk Park, and we'll expect a full house on that evening for sure. It's great. It's a chance for the community, for this local community, to come out and see Woodbine Mohawk Park in all its glory, and it's a fun night. Of course, fireworks cap it off, great racing on track, and a lot of other entertainment to go along with it.
Yeah, and we keep saying there, and I mean, until you've really noticed it or witnessed it, like you obviously have, they go they go full tilt on this fireworks display. This is as good as you're going to ever see anywhere that you go. You're never going to see a better fireworks display than this one.
And it's important. It is important. A lot of newbies out that night, but it's important to get those people out. They've got a world-class facility right here in their backyard, and to come out and get a chance to see it in person and have a great night and see some world-class horse racing as well. Plays of the night, final order of business here as we are almost set to kick off this Friday night program. And Randy, we'll let you take us through your plays tonight. You've gone off the grid a little bit with some of your selections. I like to see it.
Went looking for some price shopping. Was going to try to impress my co-host here tonight. Okay, so Waples Watch going to be Control Rocks. Race 2 for Jack Darling, Billy Davis. Big movement on the end. Beat the favorite for 8 days a week for Doug High. I think he's sitting on a good effort. Worth a look. Foxy Seaside, second start Lasix for Dominic Ledoux and James McDonald. And all in, Team Young, cover band for my hopeful, my Hambletonian hopeful.
And let's see who our resident handicappers are focusing in on tonight. John Rallis, Control Rocks, caught his eye as well. Garnet Barnsdale over in race number 5. Silky Choice, his spot play of the night, 4-1 morning line. And Whiskey Time, yes indeed, for Ghislaine. Getting ready for the weekend. Maybe a little bit of whiskey in hand as he cheers on. Shoot the whiskey, perhaps.
Something I'm not 100% sure. I think Rawlis, could be a return on Control Rocks. He might have had this one up on top first start. I think he did.
Yeah. So you're not going to get the big price probably tonight, but maybe somewhere in the middle, and a really good chance to get it done. So that is an overview of what we have coming up here tonight. It is going to be a lot of fun. We're so glad you could join us tonight. The first of 13 coming up just moments from now. The post parade next.